First-person shooters. So, a first-person shooter is a video game usually where you're playing from the perspective of the protagonist. You're looking through their eyes. These seem to still be popular for probably, any number of factors. I mean, there's cultural things like it's the competitive nature of them. You have multiplayer components that where you're doing teamwork or trying to beat an opposing team. They're pretty accessible. I mean, it's basically just running around and aiming and shooting. The psychological end of it, there's the adrenaline rush you get. With the more realistic ones today, I imagine that's even more pronounced. There's the power fantasy thing. I mean, it's allowing players to take on, powerful roles like soldiers, special forces operatives, spies, that kind of thing. And it fulfills I suppose, a psychological desire for control and dominance, I guess. And of course, there's just escapism, which I think is probably, in my case, the most appealing aspect of the whole thing. As probably most of the people who were around at that time, I started out on Wolfenstein 3D, or Wolfenstein 3D, which was 1992, I think, which is not the earliest first person, but one of the earliest for sure. Developed by id Software. It was a World War II setting, and it's laid out a lot of the traditional sort of conventions for first-person shooters, like, carrying and using different weapons, finding keys to progress through levels. And then there was Doom, 1993. Doom kind of gave me the willies in some regards. The second level, I think, with the atmospheric part where the room lights were flickering on and off, that really got to me for some reason. It had more sort of 2.5D, not quite 3D graphics, but sort of 2.5D graphics, some interesting weapons like shotguns and the BFG, and it also had multiplayer mode, and which was really fun. That opened up a whole new thing for me. Quake was sort of the logical progression from that. id Software again, and that was 3D rendered graphics, again, multiplayer, and you could do it over the internet. If I recall correctly, Doom was available as a head-to-head modem-to-modem connection or on an internal network. I don't think it had any internet capability. The one I really liked at the time and played quite a bit was Unreal, more specifically Unreal Tournament from 1998. It was built with the original Unreal Engine, and it had computer-controlled teammates, opponents, if you wanted to do that. And they even had vehicles in them. Yeah, after that, I sort of quickly realized my eye-hand coordination was not really up to the sort of twitchy state that you need to be to play these games successfully, especially in multiplayer mode, so I kind of gave up on them. That said, I do keep kind of watching what's going on, and it's really interesting how they've progressed in the last, 30-odd years since Wolfenstein 3D. Some of the games now are just incredible to look at. Body Cam is one that just came out, I think, this month as I record this. And it was, from what I've read, it was developed by two people, a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old, which is kind of astonishing. It's one of the most realistic looking shooters I've seen. It's made in Unreal Engine 5, I believe. Interestingly, it uses the same approach as another game, which I'm going to mention here. The other game, which looks somewhat, very similar, really. It's the same kind of idea with the body cam footage and that kind of thing, is called Unrecord. Unrecord was shown, I think, originally in October 2022. There was a 720p demo put on Twitter. And then about 6 months later, in April 2023, they put out another demo, which, frankly, to me, looks real. And I think there was some, not controversy at the time, but a lot of people asking, is this just, real footage doctored to look like like gameplay? And apparently the developer actually showed the thing running in Unreal Engine to prove that it wasn't real. And it looks remarkable. It's, again, the body cam aesthetic. So I think that contributes to these games looking even more realistic than they would otherwise. You've got the body cam look to it. You get the blurred out faces. I think that's done possibly. I mean, that's typically what you'll sometimes see in body camera footage when it's released. They'll blur out faces and stuff. But it might be done also to avoid the uncanny valley situation where you have, realistic looking faces, but they're not quite human. With just concentrating on the body movement, the animations are really good in both body cam and unrecord. The hands in unrecord in particular are very realistic looking to me, at least the animations are. And the body animations and the movements seem very realistic as well. So, yeah, really cool. I don't know if I would have the nerve to play these. They're maybe a little too stressful for me at my age, but they certainly are impressive. Quite a jump from, 30 years ago. So thanks for watching. Appreciate the likes and comments and all that kind of good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Take care.